What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, we gotta talk about the Wampa League game, the Crash Bandicoot game. There's only, several things. Actually, there are several things in this world that make my blood boil, and this is one of them. This is actually, in my opinion, the worst case scenario of a thing that I talked about a while ago with Activision, stealing every single developer under the sun that they have in their possession to work on Call of Duty. And I have been on record in videos saying, this, I guarantee you, has pushed back the dates of a new Spyro game and the new Crash game. Crash game being the Wampa League game and Spyro being Spyro 4, like the new one. I guarantee you that those games were supposed to come out earlier than they end up, than they will when we eventually see them, because of this whole stupid Call of Duty situation. And so I've been on record saying that. Now, if you believe this rumor, I would say it's pretty much, we can link my stuff to their stuff. So I do want to thank Pedro. He knows who he is, on Twitter. Great guy. He sends me a lot of stuff. And he sent me this article from Comic Book Games. I believe that came up yesterday. And this comes from a man named Matt Romano. Now, I've never seen this guy before, but that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean he's any more or less reliable. You guys, if you've ever heard of him, you can let me know. But basically, he says, so I can finally talk about this. The original Wampa League game release date plans, also original Crash 4 release plans, it was going to launch this fall before Activision changed those plans. Take this info as you will, everyone. And then Crash Bandicoot Clubhouse added, so key information then. Wampa League is planned for PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, and there was going to be a beta test done in the summer with the game launching in October 2021. Content-wise, it was going to have 16 heroes and 13 maps at launch. I'm intrigued by this, but it also sounds very plausible. And then they go on to say, as alluded to, we've been hearing about the Wampa League game for a while. So, I'm going to stop, reading it there. That's true. So I guess to summarize everything, right? We've heard about this game a lot. We've heard about this game, I'd honestly argue, for like at least a year plus. And I've even covered it before on this channel. I want it. I guess for those that do not know, this is basically kind of a cross. I was going to spoil it. A cross between Crash Bash and whatever you would imagine Crash Bash being now. I guess it's Crash Bash now without being a remake. Now, I've always said, I just want a one-to-one Crash Bash remake. It would make my life so much happier because I just love that game to death. And I have really no shame in saying it's my favorite Crash Bandicoot game of all time, even though it's controversial. But if we're going to get a game, if they want to give us a game that is very similar in the vein to Crash Bash, but just different, made for modern audiences, which I hate that quote in terms of movies and some games, but no, I would take that. So again, everything I've ever heard about this game, I've loved. I want it, again, because it's like Crash Bash, and it does make me upset because now we get to put, so if you believe it. If you don't believe it, that's fine. I'm not saying you have to believe this stuff, but if you do believe it, it really does, I would say, stamp everything that I've said ever since April or March. It would stamp my stuff as accurate. You know what I mean? Because again, I've said, when Activision, so, and I guess for those that don't know, right? Activision took what is reported as every single employee that they have working on any single game. But we do know they have taken specific teams off of whatever they were working on to help work on Call of Duty. So everybody that works for Activision is working on Call of Duty in some regard. And it's not like me, I'm some genius who figured it out. Literally, if you do that, you're obviously stopping them from making the games that they were making. So any game, any of these companies or studios under Activision were making from let's say April on, stopped. It could be a file on their computer, and that's just it. It's just there, just waiting for somebody to click on it, but it's not being worked on. And that's the case up until, Call of Duty releases this Friday. Now, maybe there's patchwork to be done, and I assume that most of these studios will go back to their, regular scheduled programs after, Call of Duty releases. So that's what I've always been saying from April, or I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was sometime a little bit right before summer. From that point on, nobody was working on these games. So yeah, I do believe that, if it's true that we were supposed to have a beta test for this multiplayer game, which sounds accurate, in the summer, and then it releases this October, that sounds plausible. But if you have nobody working on the game, clearly that's not going to happen. So what does that mean? It means really what I've always said is just take when you think this stuff was supposed to happen and move it by like 7 or so months, because that's how long roughly that they, were not working on anything besides Call of Duty, which again, I've actually made a video why I think that is the stupidest decision on planet Earth and just bad management. So, I would say maybe even to make it nicer, just move it a year. So I would argue maybe by next summer, okay, 2022 summer, we will be playing, some sort of multiplayer thing in terms of a beta, and then we'll get the game hopefully by next fall at the latest. And honestly, again, like I've said for Spyro, I think Spyro is the same thing. If Spyro was supposed to come out this year, I think it comes out next year. I think it's just moved a little bit. So, it's good. It's good and bad. It's good that we know, again, from somebody else, whether you believe him or not. I guess it's just another person talking about it. And then if you do believe it, well, it's still another person talking about this rumored game, which is exciting. It's exciting to hear about the game, and that the game, I think is still happening. Just because they're not working on it right now doesn't mean it's been canceled or anything. So that's great. And then I guess the bad side of it is, like, in a normal world where they didn't need to have a Call of Duty game come out every year for 500 years, they'd be able to release the Crash Bandicoot. They'd be able to release the Wampa League game. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, I have a Twitter, I have a second YouTube channel. We also have Patreon and YouTube memberships if you guys want to support us there. All the links for all of those things are in the description below, okay? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.